I'm Brian Walker, a digital arts student at the University of Oregon. When I say that, people usually give me a blank stare. I usually explain to them that a digital arts student is someone who uses a camera, a computer, and sometimes focuses on interactive design. And they usually still look at me with a blank stare. The truth is, I don't know what kind of artist to be. A couple weeks ago, an instructor of mine said, "Well, I think you're confused. I see two Brian Walkers. I see the Brian Walker that wants to impress the world, and I see another Brian Walker that wants to be an artist." I told my instructor that the bottom line is I want to be a successful artist. My instructor said, "You may never be a successful artist. There are no promises in life, except for the promises that you give to yourself. And even then it's a crapshoot." I've been watching the Muppet movie a lot lately. I've been watching it for the message to budding filmmakers. You see, Kermit the Frog represents all of us who are struggling as artists to be successful. And he's constantly being tempted by Doc Hopper to sell out his whole identity as a frog for money. Money that he desperately needs. Despite the pain and the suffering and the challenges, he perseveres. And it isn't until he has suffered as an artist that he is then successful. Last week at the career fair, there was the typical people, the insurance agents, the financial planners and advisors, and the U.S. Marine Corps. You know, I could walk in as second lieutenant into the U.S. Marines, except I already have a guy who yells in my ear at 4 in the morning. You know, I spoke to the guy from New York Life. He was very polite to me. He wore a suit and he looked me right in the eye. And I asked him, "When do you get to be creative?" And he said, "What do you mean creative?" In a really confused sort of way. And said, "We have options." See, I'm not that kind of person. I have to do something creative or I feel like I've wasted my time. I have ideas and creative ideas all the time and I can't just keep them in a box. There was a representative from a design firm in California, and he was very excited when I told him I was a digital artist. He said, "Oh, great, that means you can be my webpage designer." And he said all he was looking for was a webpage designer and wanted to see my webpage. Well, I hate webpage design. I don't want to sit in front of a computer all day designing somebody else's webpage on the whims of an ignorant executive. I didn't go to school to become a webpage designer. That's not the kind of artist that I want to be. Of course, there's always being a graphic designer, but I don't want to spend my day trying to figure out if I should use Lucinda Grand or if I should use copper plate, or is Helvetica too cliche? Now, don't forget the paper itself is a media. No, I don't think so. Of course, another option is I could make it as a gallery artist. The problem with that is I hate galleries. The idea of putting the artwork in a quiet box where everyone has to behave. No cell phones, no recording devices. Adults, $5. Seniors, $3. Students with ID, $3. Free to members. Wheelchair accessible. Open Thursdays through Sundays. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays, including major holidays. You see, museums are only good for those who muse. You, in effect, are only preaching to the choir. The only thing good about art museums is only artists go to art museums. Unless I want to have my hand out all the time looking for money, then being a gallery artist just isn't for me. Why then did I go back to college? You know, if I had done nothing, I would still be in the same location. Still picking up dirty pipe or dirty dishes or dirty whatnot. And I'm still not out of this trap yet. But you know, if I hadn't gone back to college, nothing would happen. So I'm in the same position that I was in high school, driving with my dad in the car across town. "I'm pointing the right direction, but I can't make you make that right decision." Of course, if I'd listened to him, I'd be selling insurance right now with residual income and options. And I could be one of the other 10,000 people in this town selling insurance. You know, graduation's only in 2 weeks, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life. The best work that I have to show is deeply personal. And when it gets rejected, it feels like people rejecting me. And the question is, could I sell my work? And how much of myself am I willing to sell? But the bottom line is, will it pay off at all? Because like I said, there are no promises in this world. Nobody promised me anything. You know, the only thing that is required to be a great artist is talent. About 3 years ago, my wife graduated from the School of Digital Art. It was actually called Visual Design at the time. She and I both have that same philosophy that there's no sin in selling your artwork. That is, of course, as long as you understand that when you sell it, you no longer own it. She has this ability to walk by at a normal speed, just to be walking by and bam, pick out a 4-leaf clover. And I asked her, how are you able to find the 4-leaf clover in a sea of clovers? And how can you do this over and over and over again? And she said, you know, Brian, the trick is not to look. So I tried that, and I walked by, and for 20 minutes, nothing. And then all of a sudden I stopped, and there it was, 4-leaf clover. Maybe I've been trying too hard to impress instructors. And maybe I haven't been true to myself as an artist. I found a video that I had shot sometime about 15 years ago on my dad's 1981 Sony camera. I forgot I even did this. And as I was looking at this video, I thought to myself, you've been a video artist for a very long time, but it hasn't been until recently that you've been willing to admit this to yourself. And you know what, to hell with what my parents think, or what my instructors think, or what the world thinks. I need to be true to myself as an artist. I've been giving a lot of people tell me, you'll never make it as an artist in this country. Unless you live in Chicago, New York, or LA, you'll never be successful as an artist. But I don't even know if I can sell it. So what difference does that make? And I want to contribute to the academic process. I want to be part of the academic continuum. I want to help shape and mold the course of human history. I want to be respected for my mind, and I want my talents to be used for something other than picking up pipe with a forklift. And I think I have something to offer to the world. The greatest respect that a person could give an artist is to simply participate in the art. Because without an audience, there ceases to be a reason for art to be produced. So thank you for being my audience.